chilled procedure. The propellants are much colder than the engines, and so it's important to get the engines to the correct temperature beforehand by slowly flowing propellant through them. Liquid oxygen in particular is so much colder that it would turn into a gas upon first contact, which would be a pretty hard start for the engine.
Yep.
The strong back cradle is opening and will slightly retract away from the rocket. The strong back is the structure that's standing immediately next to Falcon 9 on your screen, not the larger gray structure. It will recline more fully as Falcon 9 rolls. And you heard the strong back lower has begun. At T-minus 3 minutes, we'll be performing an engine wiggle. That's checking the thrust vector control system to make sure that the Merlin engines will be able to properly steer Falcon 9 during ascent. And at T-minus 60 seconds, you'll hear that Falcon 9 is in startup, which means that the rocket's internal flight computers have taken over the countdown. You can see the cradle is opening and is just finished opening on your screen there. The little arm is just beneath the fairing. One more interesting change for this mission relates to the Merlin engines themselves. In Block 4, the engines were used with a constant chamber pressure. Because engine thrust depends on both the chamber pressure and external atmospheric pressure, the Block 4 engine's thrust would slowly increase by up to 10 or 15,000 pounds per engine during ascent. For Block 5, we'll be maintaining a constant thrust of 190,000 pounds until cutoff, which means we'll actually be slowly decreasing the engine's chamber pressures over time to compensate for decreasing atmospheric pressure.
Stage 1 launch load is closed out.
Otherwise, the drone ship is on standby in the Atlantic Ocean. The payload is healthy and go for launch. The range is also go for launch. And at this point, we're inside of T-minus 3 minutes and getting pretty close to T0.
Strong back lower is ended, strong back's at 88.2 degrees.
So let's listen in to the last couple minutes of terminal count.
A quick reminder to everybody, again, remain seated. Don't block anybody's view, especially during the last few minutes of the countdown or the launch. Again, during the launch, don't stand up in front of anybody. They've been out here for a long time. They'll be very upset if you block their picture. I would also suggest everybody to try to be as quiet as possible so we can hear those updates over the next minute and 36 seconds. Okay, keep your eyes focused on the clock. The venting you see on the stage is normal. Okay, that's the liquid oxygen boiling off the sides. That's very normal. You can see it on the display screen.
Gas close zones.
That's that puffy sound you hear. Again, that's very normal. And again, if everyone's quiet, you'll be able to hear the final minute, 10 seconds or so of the countdown. Again, the sound will reach us about 20 seconds after launch.
AFTS is ready for launch.
Falcon 9 is in startup. LD go for launch.
Minus 15 seconds.
Command is at point pressures.
Ready, baby?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition, liftoff.
The noise.
Now, if everyone's quiet, you'll be able to hear it really well. Okay, what you're seeing right now is the vehicle is passing through what's called the thermocline. That's a very different temperature area of our atmosphere. All right, so that is nothing to be concerned about. The temperature of the atmosphere changes very drastically in that area. That's why you see that smoke. Everything is going well. You'll see a big cloud, or I should say a big shadow. That's a shadow of the sun. If you look at the TV screen, you'll see the long-range tracking cameras looking at the vehicle. And very shortly we'll have a main engine cut off in about 30 seconds. So if you look, the altitude right now is about 32 kilometers. Speed now passing 4,400 kilometers an hour. 2 minutes into the flight, next major event, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's the view from on board the Falcon 9, looking backwards at Earth. And in about 20 seconds, you'll see the stage separate. So keep watching the TV. And you'll see the stage separate very shortly.
That'll happening just a few seconds from now.
All right, the main engine has cut off, and you can see the stage separating on the other side.
And there you saw those events occurring just as planned. You can even see some of the flicker from Canaveral vacuum engine flume.
Now, if you look on the left view screen, you see those little square patterns. Those are the fins. Those fins help the vehicle control the landing. So the landing sequence on that first stage is starting. On the right side, you see the second stage engine. It's glowing pretty hot now. That second stage burn started about 2 minutes and 36 seconds in. It's going to last a little under 6 minutes to get that vehicle. But those steering fins on the first stage on the left-hand side, you want to keep an eye on those. The latest deploy was the fairing separation. That's the part of the rocket that surrounds the satellite. So the satellite is now free to be deployed. So the surrounding area, the nose cone, is now away from the spacecraft. So BangaBandhu-1 is now exposed to space. It'll stay attached for about 33 minutes and 38 seconds. Now, if you look on the left-hand side, the fins are deployed, which means you see that the firing now on the left-hand side. That is the first stage coming back to Earth.
Events in rapid succession. We had a
so on the left side, you see the landing. On the right side, the rocket engine propelling the vehicle into space.
By a fairing separation. Everything's going great right now. Falcon 9 is looking.
So on the left side, you'll see the clouds coming up as we're getting closer to that barge, about 400 miles away off the coast of Jacksonville, Florida.
Looking down towards the 9 Merlin engines at the bottom. In that view, you can can see those titanium grid fins. They slowly deployed just after stage separation, and those grid fins will allow the Falcon 9 first stage to guide itself back down towards the drone ship. Of course,
Now that the landing should occur about 3 minutes and 10 seconds from now. So if you stay where you are and you look at the left-hand side, you'll be seeing the ship coming into view for a landing about 3 minutes from now.
At the very bottom of the second stage, looking down towards the Merlin vacuum nozzle. Of course, at the very other end of that stage is the BangaBandhu Satellite 1. Right now, that Merlin vacuum engine is glowing red hot with those exhaust gases as it propels BangaBandhu Satellite 1 into its final geostationary transfer orbit.
Wow. You're all right, man.
All right, about 2.5 minutes now till landing. You can see the clouds getting
Falcon 9
closer on the
first stage
left-hand
is gonna
side.
perform 2 burn maneuvers in order to get back down towards the drone ship. The first burn is going to be an entry burn coming up in about 30 seconds. You'll be able to see that entry burn start on the left-hand side of your screen.
Okay, now 2 minutes till landing on the ship. 2 minutes from now.
As a reminder, those bursts of clouds coming out of the Falcon 9 first stage on the left are those cold gas thrusters that, in addition to the titanium grid fins, allow it to provide or to control itself as it comes back down through the atmosphere.
And on the right side, that engine burn is continuing. We have about another 2 minutes. That's one of the landing burns to slow us down on the left side. That's to slow us down, so our speed